Kathmandu.
Because this box was already open. This is not a full box. I just got what they had left. They had this and a box of Jumpstart and a couple of little other odds and ends. So I went through and I bought what I could from them. So what I thought I would do is let's take, I don't know, we'll take a stack. 3, 6, 7, 8. We'll open 10. Here's 10 packs of Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle Earth. These are set boosters, so this is right before they came out with play boosters. We'll set that aside, and we'll see what sort of stuff we got. I'm going to actually downsize this right here. And let's see what we can come up with. And let's see what we got. And hopefully we'll get some folks to come in and watch. If not, that's okay. Again, this is kind of an experiment for today. So, first pack. Maybe we'll get some good stuff out of here. Oh, and right away, we got a mythic Gandalf the White, 2 white and 3, Avatar Wizard with Flash. You may cast legendary spells and artifact spells as though they had Flash. If a legendary permanent or an artifact entering or leaving the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So that's kind of like a Panharmonicon for artifacts and legendary permanents. Get it right before a board wipe. That's can be pretty handy there. Oh, and I also missed that there was a list card, Fortifying Provisions. Creatures you control get +1/+0. But it's also a common. Knights of Dull Amaranth. Duodane Rangers, Shortcut to Mushrooms, Ring Sight, and then we've got some more of our commons here, and then we've got our Swampy Swamp here. Now, if you have been following me for a while, you know I do have some feelings on these full art lands from Lord of the Rings, because they have several different types of land types, basic land types, basic land arts, I guess you could say, for this set. And really, I feel like they should just stick to one. I mean, come on. Because if you're going to have some land art for Lord of the Rings, this is really what it should look like. The map scenes, the swamps represented by the dead marshes, and I think this really catches what the land should have looked like for the Lord of the Rings set. Not going with the traditional basic land types, but that's just, again, me. So that is a pretty good hit off that first pack. Now, because these are set boosters, they kind of play by the same rules as the play boosters, but we may not get as many mythics and rares, but we'll see. Oh, and then we've got another good hit here, Shelob, Child of Ungoliant, Spider Demon, which is kind of an interesting classification for Shelob. 4 colorless, black and green, Death Touch Ward 2, 8/8. Other spiders you control have Death Touch in Ward 2. Whenever another creature is dealt damage this turn by a spider you control dies, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a food. With pay 2, sack this artifact, you gain 3. And then I don't know if the food, not that food token doesn't look like it, but there are some food tokens that look like cocooned up spider food, so that's kind of cool. She is the Child of Ungoliant, which is which it was the spider that was brought up by Morgoth, I think, and tried to consume one of the Cimmerals. So this is their child, and then guarded the tunnel that Sam and Frodo went through to try to get into Mordor. Then we have Faramir, Field Commander, Fiery Inscription, Bitter Downfall, Rangers, Firebrand, and then we get into our commons. And then here's what I was talking about. I mean, this is the regular land type for Lord of the Rings, but really they should have just gone with those full arts in the map style. But that's just my opinion. Let's look at the third pack. Well, if I can get into it. Got a tentacle token, a voracious fell beast, and then Aragorn Company Leader. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Aragorn Company Leader as your ring bearer, you may put your choice of counter from among First Strike, Vigilance, Death Touch, or Lifelink on Aragorn. Whenever you put one or more counters on Aragorn, put one of each of those kinds of counters on up to one other target creature. Nope, did I put that in the wrong spot? No, I didn't. Then we've got Legolas, the Counter of Kills, Master Frodo Baggins, Gollum, Patient Plotter, and you can't have Frodo without Samwise. And then we get into our commons. And there's our art card. But I've got a pretty fun commander deck that I've built around Lord of the Rings. It's an Aragorn deck. It's the 4-color Aragorn. Here's that food token that I was talking about, where it looks like a cocooned person. ready to be consumed by a spider. Oh, and we've got another mythic Andrel Flame of the West Aragorn sword. Equipped creature gets +3/+1. Whenever they attack, create 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying. And if that creature is legendary, they are tapped and attacking when that creature attacks. I also had this in my Aragorn deck because what's a king without his sword? Old Man Willow, Rise of the Witch King, Voracious Fellbeast, Tale of Tinnavel, Gift of Strands, and then we get into our commons. Oh, and there's Sauron. Oh, and then an Orc Army token. Rally at Zehornburg. Samwise Gamgee. Green and white. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, make a food. Sack 3 foods. Return target historic card from your graveyard to your hand. So that would be an artifact, legendary, or a saga. And then we also have the Grey Havens. When it enters, scry 1, tap it for a colorless, and then you can tap it for a color among any legendary creature cards in your graveyard. We got Gandalf and Elrond. And then the Horses of Brunnen. And then we get into a lot of commons there. Alright. Moving right along. Oh, and then here is another list card, the Dragon Throne of Tarkir. 4 colorless mana. Equipped creature has Defender and pay 2. Other creatures you control get Trample and +X/+X until end of turn, where X is this creature's power. So that's pretty cool. And they get Trample, so put this on something big, and then, you know, everything that you got gets that, gets buffed and the tramples. I like that. Frodo, Sauron's Bane. So this is Frodo in Mount Doom, getting ready to toss the ring. 1 white mana for a 1/2 halfling citizen. You can pay 2, either a white or a black. If Frodo is a citizen, it becomes a halfling scout with base power 2/3 and lifelink. And then you can pay 3 black to turn him into a halfling rogue. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game if the ring has tempted you 4 or more times this game. Otherwise, the ring will tempt you. And then we get a commander deck card. So this is the face card of the Sauron deck. So 8 mana to cast Sauron, the Lord of the Rings. Blue, black, red, and 5. So that's pricey to get him out for an Avatar horror, but he is a big, beefy 9/9. Whenever you cast this spell, amass Orcs 5, mill 5, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. He does have the tramples, and whenever a commander and opponent control dies, the ring does tempt you. But in order to get that effect, though, he has to die, and you have to recast him. So it's really hard. I mean, starting off with 8 mana to cast him, if you can get some reduction effects in, might make it worth it. I actually preferred the Saruman from that deck to be a commander. It's kind of fun. I turned it into a semi Super Friends deck because they're all non-creature spells, and then I can amass orcs based off of their CMC, so it's kind of fun. Something a little different, you know. Rosy Cotton of Southland, and then a third mythic. What the hell? Okay, so Arwen, Mortal Queen, green, white, and 1 for an Elf Noble. When she enters the battlefield with an indestructible counter on her, very nice for a 2/2. Pay 1 to remove an indestructible counter from her. Another target gains indestructible until end of turn. Put a 1/1 counter and a lifelink counter on that creature, and a 1/1 counter and a lifelink counter on Arwen. Very good. So lots of mythics. I think I'm up to 4 mythics so far, and I just pulled out 10 random packs. Gothmog, Mahur, Urkai Captain, Book of Mazarbul, another Golem, Samwise, and then we get into some commons. There we go. 3 more packs. But I think this is, a prime example of Universes Beyond, flowing seamlessly into Magic the Gathering. And I think one of the things that I really liked about this set was that it was still accessible, whereas with Final Fantasy, that was not accessible. I think the IP, they paid so much for it that the cost really for a lot of players was prohibitive. The upcoming Avatar set is going to be the same thing. I mean, I've seen some of the pre-sales for like a box of collector boosters, and it's ridiculous. And it's going to be hard. I'd like to get a box, but it is priced out for me. Legolas Master Archer for a rare for this pack. 2 green and 1 for a Reaching Elf Archer. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Legolas, put a 1/1 counter on him. He does start as a 1/4. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you don't control, Legolas deals damage equal to its power up to 1 target creature. Throw some Death Touch on him. And then an Elvish Mariner, blue and 2. Whenever he attacks, scry 1. He is a 3/2. Whenever you scry, tap up to X target non-land permanents, where X is the number of cards looked at while scrying this way. And then Gothmog Morgul Lieutenant in some fancy art. Gift of Strands, Gandalf, Tale of Teneval, and then we get some more commons. 2 more packs. Oh, and a foil, The Ring Goes South, green and 3. The ring tempts you. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X land cards, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. Put those land cards onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So nice little rampy ramp spell. And a Galadriel of Lothorian, blue, green, and 1. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Galadriel, as your ring bearer, scry 3. Whenever you scry, you may reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put that onto the battlefield tapped. That's fun. And then another mythic, this one from the food deck, featuring Frodo and Sam. So Sam, loyal attendant, halfling peasant, partner with Frodo. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a food token. Activated abilities of foods you control cost 1 less to activate. No Frodo in this pack. That would have been too much. Gift of Strands, another Samwise, Teleton of Owl, and then more common cards. And the last pack that we are going to focus on in this, our first kind of experimental episode of breaking boxes. An Orc Army, Build a Pony, and yet another Mythic. Oh my god. Here we have the One Ring to rule them all. Indestructible. When it enters, if you cast it, you gain protection from everything until the end of your next turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life for each burden counter on the One Ring. And then you can tap it, put a burden counter on the One Ring, then draw a card for each burden counter. So that is a fantastic hit. Was not expecting that. Lash of the Balrog, Arwen, Celeborn, Mirror, and then a bunch of commons. Wow, that was completely unexpected. I mean, how many mythic cards did we hit? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mythics out of just a random 10 that I drew off the top of this box. Holy cow. Was not expecting that out of just this box. So this is fantastic. So fun little way to kind of get things going on this, our first little stream on Twitch. So this is again something that I'm going to be trying to do. We'll try to come up with a schedule of events when to kind of have things up and going. Going to also try to have some interviews on here, again continuing the conversation that we started with Tybalt's Apprentice. Again, be sure to check that video out. I'll try to also put some deck techs up on Twitch. I've got one particular Doctor Who deck that I have built that I've not done an episode on. Maybe I'll go through and we'll take a look at some of the tech videos that I've already done and look at how we've gone through and improved those decks since I have posted them. So very excited to be here. Very excited to start posting things up on Twitch. Looking forward to interacting with everybody on the platform. In the meantime, be sure to give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscribe. Check out our link tree that has our links to our YouTube channels, Instagram, Facebook, Threads. Come give us a like, give us a subscribe. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you would like to see. In the meantime, I'm Seth, your Mild Mannered Mage, wishing everybody some happy magicking. Y'all have a great one.